I have had this 14-gallon fuel transfer tank for a while now. It's gravity fed and the hose hooks at the bottom. It has a fuel shutoff valve on the outlet as well as on the inlet hose side. It has been sitting in my shed the last couple of years unused. Unfortunately, the hose got permanently crimped. I must have wounded it too tight, and with the seasons, it just ended up doing that. It was a costly mistake. I had to run up to the store to buy new fuel hose. The cheapest ones was way higher quality than this. The hose was a nice flexible rubber and the pump handle was steel. But together, these added up to $120. That was almost as much as I paid for the fuel transfer tank to begin with. So I ended up walking out with a 15-foot garden hose. Definitely not a permanent solution, but it did the job. Searching around online, I think I found my solution. Not only did I find a fuel hose and a pump handle, I found an electric pump, all for $80. The pump is supposed to be self-priming. We're going to test that. I am really excited about this fuel pump. Because the thing is, with this tank being gravity fed, it gets really heavy to lift up. Diesel weighs over 7 pounds a gallon. This is a 14-gallon tank. Combined with the weight of the tank, this is about 120 pounds. Needless to say, I couldn't lift it above my head to get high enough to put fuel into my tractor. So this pump handle was steel and feels really good in my hand. I think the base is plastic, but it has a good weight to it. Oh look, it even comes with gloves. Wait a second here. Do they only have left-handed people in China? The pump has decent weight to it as well. It needs a 12-volt source, so it comes with connections to hook to a battery. It says it requires 175 watts of power. Also in the box is some gas line pipe thread tape, the hardware, the inlet hose, the outlet hose, as well as a fuel filter. The one thing it is missing is instructions on installation, but it seems simple enough. So if you do decide to buy this kit, I'll show you how to assemble it. The first thing I did was pop the plastic cover out the outlet side. Then I used the pipe thread tape on the pipe threads and screwed it into the pump. My thinking, this is going to be easier to do with the pump handle off on the other side, because I knew I would be twisting the hose up. Or if you wanted to, you could turn the pump around the hose. You do you. When you wrap the pipe thread tape around the pipe thread, make sure you do not cover the rubber gasket. The gasket is what's going to keep fuel from leaking out. All the tape is doing is acting like a lubricant to help you get a tighter seal. Now we just screw the pump handle onto the fuel hose. I only hand tightened this side. It felt pretty snug. I don't think it's going to loosen up, especially with the pipe thread on. The next step is to screw in the inlet hose connector. Take a wrench and snug it down tight, but do not over tighten it. It doesn't need to be tighter than Lizzo spandex, just really snug. The next step is to slide the hose clamp over the hose and then the hose over the connector. Then tighten her down with the screwdriver. Finally, we slide on the last hose clamp, as well as the fuel filter, and tighten it down. Now it's going to be time to slide this in and give it a test. But first, we got to try on these sweet new gloves. Even though we have two left-handed, I will improvise, adapt, and overcome. Hey, they match my gas tank. It was meant to be. Houston, we have a problem. The fuel filter was just a little too big, so I ended up taking it off. Even if I shaved it down to make it fit, the hose clamp wouldn't fit through either. I will have to figure something out later. Alright, I'm ready to test this out for its first time. I have to tell you, with this pump handle, it feels like I'm at a gas station. To power it up, I'm going to hook it to the battery in my truck. I like how the on-off switch has a moisture cover over it. And as you can see, there's no fuel coming out of it yet. I'm thinking that maybe it's pressurizing and I need to purge the air from the line. I still don't get anything. And then I start thinking, maybe I have too much hose in the tank because this tank isn't full. So I pull some of it out. And that did the trick. There was just too much hose coiled up. I want to mention I did have the pump handle on open. This was just in case if air was going to be a factor too. Look at the pressure coming out of this hose. I am impressed. Bonus review. I didn't want to have to hook this up to the battery every time I wanted to use it, so I bought a rectifier. This will convert 110 or 220 AC power to 12 DC 600 watts. This was only $40, about the same price as a cheap battery if you're lucky. This will also come in helpful for me because later on I plan on putting a diesel heater in my shed. Even though diesel heaters get their fuel from diesel to get hot, they still require 12 volts of power to operate. These leads will be perfect for clamping on, and speaking of clamps, it comes with the couple itself. There's the positive and negative markings. I like how they come with some screw-on plastic caps. You can use them to hold something down, or maybe it would even help keeping clamps on. On the side is the voltage selector switch. If you wanted to, you can run this off 220 power. Well, I need some more fuel in the tank. It's time to give this a test. I'm really happy I found this because it was a lot harder to deal with the gravity fed stuff. Because I was lifting the tank up with my bucket to get it high enough for the gravity feed to work. And that's just not very safe. Not to mention, it was a pain in the butt. Alright, got the switches on and time to pump. Again, it all works perfectly. The fuel flow is high and everything is working as it should. I'm thinking since I have this pump now, I might just buy a used tank. Maybe something with more capacity. Something I can leave the fuel holes in. I don't have to worry about purging it then. Because sometimes to purge the lines, I take the pump handle and stick it back in the fuel transfer tank and pump it back in. Well, I hope you found this review useful. I will leave a link to everything I'm using in the description. Needless to say, none of this is sponsored. Look how small my channel is. If this pump fails on me at any time, I will put a comment and pin it and say it did. Just because it's working now doesn't mean it will last. Well, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.